Welcome to the Vector Field Services Vendor Orientation for the APS biweekly and monthly inspections. The agenda for today's orientation will be as follows: inspection type overview, report form section summary, field procedures and form section review, turn times, photo requirements, and receiving and submitting work orders. Inspection type overview. Vector Field Services will be completing two different types of inspections for APS. The first is a bi-weekly inspection. This will be performed every 2 weeks for the purpose of confirming occupancy statuses. The monthly inspection report will be a service performed monthly to monitor the condition of the property for quality control purposes. Report form section summary. The APS forms consist of 9 different sections as follows: loan information, general property information, occupancy information, utility information, securing, interior inspection, exterior inspection, pests and termites, and code violations. The bi-weekly inspection report contains the first 3 sections, while the monthly inspection report contains all 9 sections. This is a sample of the monthly QC inspection report. Field procedures and form section review. For monthly inspections, all vendors will be required to enter the interior of a property. A digital deadbolt code will be provided for interior access. It will be provided in the property information section on the order detail page of each order when you log into Infield Express. To operate the digital deadbolt, follow these simple instructions. Enter the digital lock code provided, pull the door towards you, and push the unlock button on the deadbolt. This should disengage the lock. At this point, you can open the door and complete your interior inspection. Upon leaving the property, close the door and press the lock button. You might need to pull and push the door slightly to make sure that the deadbolt engages, and then double check to make sure that the door is secure. Please note that if a beeping noise is heard while attempting to access the code, this indicates that an incorrect code has been entered. Pressing a code incorrectly 3 times will lock you out for 10 minutes. Upon which you will be able to try again with the digital lock code provided. The General Information Property section of the form contains the following information: lot size, property type, HOA information, and gate and guarded community information. For the lot size, the vendor is expected to provide the estimated lot size in square feet. Property types consists of whether the property is a single family, duplex, triplex, condo, townhome, or a multi-unit building. If the property is a condo or a townhome and is inside of an HOA, APS has requested that we attempt to obtain the HOA's contact information. Likewise, with gated and guarded communities, APS has requested that we attempt to provide them with the gate code or information from the gate guard in regards to accessing the community. In the occupancy information section, vendors are required to knock on the door to attempt contact with the occupant if the property appears to still be occupied. APS has requested that report form the occupant's information if contact was successful, and provide them with APS's contact information. If a property appears to be vacant, the vendor must walk the entire exterior of the property to confirm occupancy status and the following. Number 1, is the property secured? Number 2, are any vehicles parked in the driveway or anywhere else on the property? And number 3, is there any personal property present inside the home? If any of these questions are answered yes, the vendor may want to reconsider their occupancy status, as these items typically would indicate that a property to be occupied. APS has also asked that we check whether or not the utilities are on and whether or not there are any exterior debris on the property. Utility information. This section of the form requires that we confirm whether the electricity, the water, and the gas are on or off at the property. Standard procedures should be followed to determine the status of each of these utilities. In the securing section, APS would like us to note whether the property is secured with a digital lock and its operational status. They have also asked us to provide them with information regarding any outbuildings and whether or not they are secured. If we find a property or any outbuildings that are unsecure, APS has requested that we describe the access issues, noting where they are located, and also take any photos of any windows, doors, and outbuildings that need security. Interior inspection section. You must take photos of any condition, hazards, or safety issues noted on the report form. Each vendor will need to perform a complete walkthrough to observe the condition of each room inside the property and note any preservation work needed, as well as any hazards and or safety issues. Some examples of cleaning issues inside a home is whether or not the debris have been removed, whether or not all rooms have been swept and sanitized, whether or not the windows have been cleaned, whether kitchen cabinets, bathroom cabinets, and closets are cleaned, and whether the house has been winterized. Examples of hazards, conditions, and safety issues may be things such as vandalism, water leaks or flood damage, and any drywall discoloration. Please note that if you find any active water leaks, you must attempt to shut off the water if possible. Exterior inspection information. All vendors must take photos of any conditions, hazards, or safety issues noted on the report as they complete the exterior portion of the inspection form. Each vendor must complete a walk around of the exterior of the property, noting any preservation work needed, as well as any hazards and or safety issues. Examples of cleaning and maintenance items may be whether or not the front and backyard are clear of debris and trash, whether the mailbox has been cleared of all new and old mail, as well as any landscaping that may need to be maintained, or driveways, walkways, or front steps that may need to be cleared of snow. Examples of exterior hazards, conditions, and safety issues on a property may be whether or not hazardous materials or tires exist on the property, stairs, railings, porch, or decks that may be in need of repairs, roofs or exterior walls that are damaged, and any visible leaks on the exterior of the property that may exist. Please note that the form requires us to note whether any hazards and life safety issues exist. You will need to tape off interior and exterior areas you observe with hazards and life safety issues with yellow tape and post a warning sign. You must take photos of any hazard or life safety issue that you tape off. Vector Field Services as well as APS may be liable for any life safety issues that have not been taped off and posted with a warning notice. In the pest sections, APS has requested us to note and photograph any visible signs of pest or termite infestation. If the infestation is present, we must also make sure and note if it presents a safety issue. Code violations. If a code violation exists, APS requires Vector Field Services to provide the contact information of the authority that has posted the notice, as well as provide any photographs that show the violation. Vector Field Services must also note any potential violations that may exist on a property and note them in the report form. Turn times. The biweekly and monthly inspection reports have separate and unique turn times. In general, orders are to be completed and submitted no later than 8 p.m. on the due date listed in the order. All orders are time sensitive and each must be submitted on time. For the biweekly inspection, vendors are allowed 4 calendar days to complete and submit a work order. For example, if an order was received on a Monday, the vendor would have until that Friday at 8 p.m. to have the work order completed and submitted back to Vector Field Services. For the monthly inspection report, the vendors are provided with a 10 calendar day due date. For example, if an order were received on a Monday, the vendor would have until the following Thursday at 8 p.m. to have the order completed and submitted. Vector Field Services encourages all vendors to complete and submit their orders as soon as possible after receiving them. Photo standards and technical requirements. Each vendor is required to know the specific photo requirements for each type of inspection. Customer requirement documents and work orders should be completely reviewed before going out to a property. If for any order a vendor does not submit all required photos or submits photos that do not meet our technical requirements and standards, vendors will be responsible for resubmitting the necessary photos within 24 hours of the QA return. Vector requires that all photos must be clear and high quality. Verifications must be taken up close and not be blurry. Photos taken at dusk or nighttime will not be accepted. Photos taken from inside vehicles will not be accepted. Vector Field Services does not want date and time stamps on their photos. Vector Field Services requires all photos to be in landscape format. Vertical format will be returned for correction. Photos must be in a 640 by 480 minimum pixel resolution, and digital cameras are required. No mobile device photos will be accepted. The biweekly inspection has 2 basic photos required. The first is a full front view of the inspection, and the second is an address verification photo. The below samples are good examples of photos that would be acceptable to Vector Field Services. Please note that for address verification, only use a street sign photo if a house number, mailbox number, or curb number is not. The monthly inspection report requires a minimum of 5 photographs: a full front view of the property, an up-close address verification photo, a photo of the kitchen, a photo of a bathroom, and a photo of the living room. Again, please note for address verifications, only use a street sign photo if the house number, mailbox number, or curb number is not available. In addition to the standard photo requirements, you must take a photo of each answer on the form that you observe has a photo required next to it. An example of this is on the form where it asks whether all appliances are thoroughly cleaned inside and out. If a vendor were to answer no to this question, he or she must also provide a photograph as evidence to the fact that the appliance has not been cleaned. Several questions on the form will require a photograph if answered a specific way. Below are some samples of the photos required depending on the condition of a property: debris and trash not removed, unsafe electrical, damaged exterior brickwork or siding, and an unsecured property. Thank you for attending the Vector Field Services vendor orientation for the APS biweekly and monthly inspection reports. If you have additional questions, please contact your Vector Field Services territory manager at your earliest convenience. Thank you.